There, flying orb.
You're just seeing things, man.
Pay no attention to that. These Brits, they always think they're seeing flying saucers.
There's a UFO over there.
Of course there is, Piper.
Yeah.
It just changed direction at the caravan
with
stack.
with gaslight.
Yeah.
Trailer stack.
Right.
Yeah.
We believe you.
I think we're in Area 51 or Roswell.
Some kind of April Fool's.
You know what I just noticed?
What?
The skeleton does not give you good posture. It rolls your shoulders forward.
Well, all the avatars do. Sort of.
I know, but...
Hello.
Who's
Hello.
that?
Hi, Ballpeen.
How's it
Hi,
going?
Ballpeen.
It's
Hello, Mr. Emerald.
it's hammer time.
Did anybody wearing the headsets today? No?
I don't see
There's a
person
bloody
that could
UFO
be
again.
bulky.
I saw something in the corner of my eye. Couldn't
Did
quite place it.
Chat on.
Wow, have we ever had this big a crowd?
Why is it low in
What is that?
Crowd. No, the crash is coming. The crowd.
Yeah, a while ago.
Well,
I think
back
we've got
in the
up
old
to...
days we did.
Yeah, like 30. We'd get up, yeah, we used to get up to like 30.
Wow.
How many avatars we
think-
got around today? Right, how many got? We've got 22 avatars.
Yeah, well,
No,
I'm
it looks
actually
pretty good.
let me tell Ozone where we are. Playa. I'm wearing him, so I'm staying in the middle here. I've told Ozone I'll be the guy. He's going to come in as Priscilla, or at least switch to Priscilla. Standing in the
I think you
middle
might have lost
here.
it.
Yeah.
Just loaded there, over there.
Yeah, my LOD's starting to explode, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, Ozone, was that you?
Give us a well, Ozone.
Look at that avatar, it's amazing.
Here, let me actually so
Yeah.
I'm not just spinning around at everyone. Let me stand. I'm going to stand over here at the H, and I'll just stand still. And
I
Ozone, come.
admire you.
Yeah, I see you. Come
Okay, cool.
and join me, Ozone.
All
You
right.
could
well, actually,
always do the thing
Let's
to
get up
ghost,
close
you
and
know.
personal. Let's just see what it's
That'd
like.
be-
Yeah.
that'd be-
I've just.
yeah.
Oh man, this is amazing. Let me see if I can get my.
Yeah, and I'm just doing it in. I'm not using my rift, so I can get some good shots. I'm trying to do my camera. Do you want to come to the side of me, Ozone? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, you kind of create a magic moment.
Yeah, I'm always open to a magic moment. Gotta be open.
But why don't you
Remember
come
the
stand beside me so we can just so people can see these guys.
San Francisco.
You remember the
Yeah.
ghosts?
When
Yeah,
everyone is
we
standing
are.
It's a reinactment,
yeah.
I want to say.
Ozone and I are
Hello.
true performance artists. We're
So
street
the-
artists.
The operation was successful.
You
Yeah.
tell me.
So
yeah.
so Ozone's in as Priscilla and I'm in as Matthew.
Yeah.
Standing right next to me. We're both standing at the H here. So can everyone see the male and female?
Yes.
Yeah. Ozone, why don't you tell us what this is and how it was done?
So this was a 3D high-res scan capture that we've used and brought into high fidelity. So we played a lot with the resolution of the mesh. We played a lot with the resolution of the clothes. We've also have high-res textures. And
Yeah, you don't have any clothes at the moment.
oh really? Well, that's maybe that's a benefit for you. That's a feature. For you.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So this was taken from a scan. I mean, these are
Check.
two models in LA. They got the scan, and it's definitely photoreal. The likeness is really strong. So we're going for that photoreal effect. We're not doing any kind of
Hey, that's creepy, man.
any kind of artful augmentation at all.
Hi, Richard.
So
No, but
who?
I see a bar going on now.
I think you must be Ozan. I'm just on my laptop screen so I can get a good shot of it.
Yeah, I'm wearing the HMD, that's for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So we tried these really high-res, we got these really
No,
high-res
like it's
textures.
Can
running
you
at
look
8K.
forward, Ozan? Your head's you're looking very shy right now. There
Yeah,
we go.
I'm
That's
feeling-
much more confident.
feeling very
That's
shy. Okay,
very
yeah.
confident.
Let me kind of get the shoulders back. Here, let
Yeah.
me see. So anyway, so the thing that we introduced with this was the physically based rendering material that we put on these characters, and also the normal maps and a roughness map, and all those things combined created this
You want
effect.
to try,
A more
David?
realistic skin texture and better clothes.
Mm.
Some of the wetness on the lips and the eyes.
Oh, okay.
We also did captures of the visemes, the facial expressions. So we have some of the ahs and the e's and the oohs
Oh,
that are
that's good.
from the actual models. So
Yeah.
putting it all
Yeah.
together and dialing everything in so that we have something that
hear you,
performs
Richard.
pretty
Can you hear me?
well, but also looks realistic. So this is now about 20 megs. These guys are about 20 megs each.
Now my hands are gone.
So download pretty
Well, it's
fast.
not that bad, is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, hang on. Is that 20 megs as a file as opposed to what is
Was
it
it not plugged in?
in the graphics card?
Yeah, now I had some sort of idea.
It's 20 meg as a file. So on your disk, 20
Sorry?
megs. Yeah, 20 megs to download. Yeah.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're really cool. I actually, if you get a close up of the guy here, of Matthew, I mean, feel free to come in. I'm kind of cameraing in on him. His face, like is quite incredible, I think.
Yeah, and the
yeah,
sensations, the sensations that we've been having when you have these up close and personal experiences are pretty, they're pretty intense, and they're very new.
Yeah.
I hear some different
Yeah.
voices.
Yeah,
I
I think
totally
with face
agree.
shift, there's
No.
you get much more
Yeah.
mobility in the face and cheeks and in the eyes,
That's
eyebrows.
good.
and
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, now I
Do
hear you.
you feel now that you've got the nicer equipment that the Uncanny Valley is going away now? Because I feel that is not as bad as people thought it would be.
Well, I think
to jump again.
I was going to say the Uncanny Valley just seems like it's really, really complicated, and it's a combination of so many different things. So, I mean, I think certainly the photorealism is a big part of it, but also I think the design of the characters is a big factor, and how the animation
but
plays,
also
how the texture plays.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. The animation makes a big difference as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think, and if you look at the two of us, so for me to get the video, I'm just doing it in my desktop, and sort of cameraing around with keyboard. So I've got no tracking software tracking me, and therefore I think it makes I start to look stiff, which I think gets me into Uncanny Valley. Where with Ozan, the fact that everything's tracking him, it makes her movements so much more natural, I think.
Yeah, there's a sense of life that comes through.
Yeah. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to puff my chest out a little.
I certainly
muscles
think
are
we
so
need to work
strong.
on the animations more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Are you guys seeing any of the visemes firing? The mouth shapes and some of the blinks and things like that? Are you seeing that?
Yeah, the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think eyes could do blinking on and off once in a while would be helpful.
Yeah, maybe a bit more
Yeah.
frequently.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think that'd be really good. I think the thing here is that I was just gonna say real quick that the thing here is the audio is driving a lot of the face shapes. So it would be really, and the face shapes are actually there on the model. They're just not being triggered right now. So it'd be a matter of kind of expanding the influence of what the audio is doing. But for the speckle, that's a consequence of the roughness map. The roughness is giving us what we're calling gloss and the shiny qualities. So we're kind of focusing on that around the eyes and around the lips to create a sense of wetness and consequently a sense of life.
Yeah, I've zoomed right in on the lips of Matthew here.
Yeah, this is definitely
really
like a good use of PBR. We also have, we paid a lot of attention to the normal maps, so you get a little bit of bump, a little bit of displacement around the skin. And just so you guys know, I mean, yeah, just so you know
come up right closer. Because with me, well, for Ozone, it may feel uncomfortable because you definitely get that sensation when you're in Rift when someone comes up close, but you can get as close as you want to me.
I'm ready for it. Like, I want to expand my horizons, so, you know, I'm ready to go.
just close your eyes, Ozone.
Yeah.
We'll all be over soon.
It would be interesting to see a picture of the real models.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
There's a lot of there's interesting topics there because the modeling session, they look really similar if you photos from the modeling session. But if you look at the models in other contexts, like their scenes in films or commercials, they're almost unrecognizable, and I think that's partly because models are just like that. They're really chameleon-esque. But some of the things that happen because we have these more photorealistic avatars, your expectations change a lot. So, you know, some of the deformation around the wrists and the elbows now are much more noticeable than on the cartoony characters. So we really want to pay attention now to how we do that skinning and how we do the volume preservation, things like that.
I think whatever you do is so important to get that right anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these clothes, there's two ways that one could do the clothes, certainly using cloth physics, and that's a nice way of creating the drape, and it seems much more flexible. These are actually scans from the model wearing the clothes during the modeling session, and they have all the sort of natural folds that happen, the sort of unexpected folds, so I think that's a good use of it. And just so you know, the body is complete underneath the clothes. So the idea is that in the coming months, when these are released, folks can take these avatars and replace them with different clothes and not have the sort of missing body problem. So yeah.
Do you think we'll get to a point where we'll be able to actually change the shape of the body eventually? And
oh sure, that's the idea. I mean, I think the idea is to give you a canonical base template that you can then go and run with. There are a lot of shapes that are already associated with this model. Like all the face shapes are based on this model. All the visemes are based on this model. So the clothes are also following this silhouette really tightly. So if you make any changes, there is a little bit of a downstream impact. You'd have to make those changes for all the shapes. But that's something to just keep in mind. It's a little bit of a technical issue.
Well, I'm certainly pleased at the outcome. It seems really good.
Well, yeah, and I think we have a nice pipeline. Like if we can streamline this workflow, then we can make it available to to all of you guys.
Sorry, I was dropping out. Did we mention retopology?
Well, so
was that mentioned?
Yeah, so part of the scanning process is the original scan resulted in a really high-res arbitrary topology, and we want to stay consistent with Mixamo because it's a really good topology and they have great tools, so why not use that topology? So what we did, the guys in LA did, was to wrap the Mixamo topology onto their high-res scan, and so we preserve all of the detailed silhouette, and we're able to reapply and project the texture maps onto this low-res version. So this is a fairly low-res mesh. And it is, consistent with the Mixamo topology. So you could use this with all the Mixamo tools, and you're ready to go.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And Ozone, tell these guys about their the setup, like the whatever, the 30, 40 cameras. Like what does it look like down in LA?
That's the extent of my understanding, Chris. Actually, so you just pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you say it in a really cool animated way?
Yeah. They have these really high-end cameras that all fire at the same time, and give. And I think they use a type of photogrammetry to construct the high-res mesh.
Yeah.
They also use
I gotta say,
technique to remove the lights or the lights.
Say again. Sorry.
I think there's some kind of convoluted technique they use to remove the lighting from the actual to get the albedo.
Yes, there is some discussion. There is some some issues with that. They have to pay attention to that, and that was certainly true with the clothes, because the clothes are picking up certain kinds of lighting directions based on the folds, and you want to flatten that so that's all in the albedo.
Yeah, it has to be the same light on it, doesn't it? So.
I can't say I'm really happy with this because I'm becoming strangely attracted to Ozan, and it's just right, you know.
That's what I'm saying. This is a new sensation for me, you know. Like I feel like you know, it's a new sensation. The other thing that we want to pay attention to is that we currently don't have subsurface scattering, so that's something that we want to look at next.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That would really add a lot to the skin. That would really bring it alive. Is that something we can look forward to then?
Yeah, that's something that's a priority for us, and I'm certainly pushing on.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
I take it this is a 4+ digit cost for doing this for each of these.
4+ digit.
Well,
Actually, I don't know the price point for actually having done the scans, but I think the hope, these guys in LA are dedicated to VR and AR and being able to provide low-cost avatars to a wide range of people. So they're really trying to optimize their pipeline.
Yeah. And I would kind of maybe guess and you know, with some of the stuff that we've been doing as far as the different sort of flavors that we've played around with over the kind of years, and kind of what we're seeing in some of these example avatars, you know, things that are just heads and hands to really sort of more cartoony Pixar-like avatars, to, you know, Ozan doing scans of us with the camera and doing a shader across it. Then this kind of stuff, which is high end, I think just out there in the, you know, from what I see out there as far as tools that can be used, I think they're getting a lot better. You know, so you could imagine, you know, using a Matterport scanner on the back of an iPad, and if you can set your room up right, being able to get you know, better and better stuff just using
even if you
things
could just
that are
scan
around
your
the
head
place.
in, that would be a start, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and one thing that we saw, you know, in doing those scans as a team, using albeit a low end, somewhat of a, let's say, creative solution, using the face shift to do the scan and kind of a backdoor, there's a class of folk that want to be themselves and have a representation of themselves so that they have that sense of identity in the world. And so for that, doing scans and photogrammetry is a really good solution.
Yeah, this certainly is.
I am curious of, you know, within the group, is there a desire mostly to like, oh, I want to have would you prefer to have a representation of yourself that is faithful, maybe slightly idealized, or to be something radically different? Like,
I want to see something in between. I want something like, I want a representation of my online self, if you know what I mean. But I don't want to scan myself in, you know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want to make it look as real as I can.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
Photoshop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, when we have the team all in a team meeting, it is extremely useful to be able to recognize people and say, oh, that's, you know, that's Ryan and that's Chris and so on. And so you can immediately have that real world relationship and then also the online relationship, and they kind of transfer seamlessly from one to the other. So I'm kind of curious about that. The other sensation I had is certainly when I think the roles were reversed at some point, and I was hanging out with Priscilla, and there was definitely this sensation of like, I'm hanging out with that model, that person, and Priscilla, and it was like kind of, again, it was a new sensation, and I was wondering about, like, if you imagine it's a celebrity, somebody that you recognize, and it really feels like they're there. If it's Elvis or Michael Jackson or something like that, it would really be an intense experience to be spending time with them in the HMD.
I expect that's going to happen for the future, definitely. We're going to see scans of people.
You import a Mixamo avatar now, it comes in correctly without running anything on it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
They fixed it.
Nice.
It was considerably easier this time.
That's great. That's great.
So
news.
all of that business of rotating all the components into position and then having to switch the lights on and fix the textures. It just does it. You just import the Mixamo avatar and it's correct in Blender.
That's great. Yeah. I think it was still useful
the video
information.
I just did this morning was.
Yeah, well,
I just gonna say.
It's redundant now. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't such good news.
Yeah. No, well, don't worry. I did two types. I did one just straight fuse and in, and then the fuse and Blender model. That's cool. Yeah. That's great.
We don't need to do
I can take out a section of it. So did you see the? I posted a picture of it on the on the random picture thread, and if you guys aren't following Caitlin on Twitter did a tweet about it. There's a great shot of these two characters, it looks like dancing, and I want to just say we did stage that photo. Judas thought we were actually live dancing.
I know you can't do it yourself right now, but I can kind of get in there up close and personal.
But I just thought it.
No, it's okay.
Just. At least for
That's
me,
the problem
I just thought that was one of the most beautiful photos that I've seen. Just and the just with how the characters, that lifelike element, and plus because both people that were using them were wearing had hydras and had the rifts on. Just how they can get in so close, and that the fact that their foreheads were touching was, anyway, I thought it was a pretty beautiful photo, but it was a
emotional
photo where I said you guys get together and make it look like you're in the middle of a dance, because I just those kinds of moments I think are really sort of cool looking moments with these types of avatars.
Yeah, that was an emotional moment for sure. I had the time of my life.
Any other questions on these avatars?
Can a picture of this avatar posted on other places?
What was that, Richardus?
Can you post a picture of these avatars on other places?
Can you?
Okay.
How do you mean? You want to export them into other things?
Okay to post it on, let's say, Google Plus.
Like a permission.
Oh yeah, you can post. Yeah, you can post a picture of them. Yeah.
I'm asking it for the safety.
Oh yeah, go for it.
To prove
go for
that high fidelity can have good avatars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question: when is this going to be available to look at and look in the file, or just lease where?
This, I believe, is part of the beta. This is part of the beta release. So with beta, these should be available.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sure some of you probably already grabbed the asset right now. But it's just
people ask me that. I know people ask me that. So.
No. Yeah. And Ozan's just still working on them. So he's just still working on it, tidying and getting all approvals and. I think getting sign off to say this is the final piece.
One of the looking at the log.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
This is Ryan. Sorry.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey. Just one thing about anybody that may have grabbed the asset. It'd be great if you didn't, but if you did, one of the reasons why we haven't released these yet is because there's going to be a condition with release that if you wear them or you download them, you have to either use them under, basically you can't do anything unsavory with them, or you have to modify them to the point where they're unrecognizable. So we have to put that language in when you click to wear them or when you download the actual assets to modify, and we haven't done that yet, which is one of the reasons why they're not available.
Unsavory is on a continuum.
Yes, exactly. So.
Yeah, because these are real people. I think as Chris just disappeared, but these are real people, so there's some sensitivity around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
they're doomed.
Probably one of the lessons in authoring this that really came up is that last 10% or that last even 1% makes all the difference between something that may appear kind of flat and then something that really has some of these detailed likenesses, like the wetness around the lips, or just the tuning of the normal maps, things like that just make all the difference in the life coming through. So for example, we had played with different mouth shapes. One that was just a linear mouth open that was automatically generated by the rig through Mixamo, and that was certainly very clear, so it would fire nicely. But it lacked a certain, I guess, humanness and certain personality. So we replaced that with the Vizime, the ah-shaped Vizime that came from the scan, and all of a sudden all this mobility started happening around the upper lip and the cheeks, created much more of a lifelike experience. So I think that goes a long way in having a good effect.
Sorry, my computer blue screened.
Oh.
It's
Sorry, Ozan.
don't ever
Get a
get
Mac.
an Asus laptop.
Get a Mac.
Don't ever.
I have. I'm on one right now.
Ozan. Oh.
Oh,
I can't move either.
Okay, so it's not just me. Good.
I can move. I can move, but the LOD goes down.
So I've a question for Ozan.
Yo.
Yes. When you say you're capturing these Vizimes, is it also capturing the movement on the temple? You know, when you open your jaw, the side of your temple, it's doing all of that, yeah.
Yeah. So the I think Ryan was there, so he might be able to kind of describe in detail. But my understanding is that they would have the models be inside the camera rig, do the scan, and assume a certain Vizime, and we're focusing on these primary phonetic
shape or expression. They had a couple example words, and then it was really kind of the job of the gentleman that was pressing the shutter button to click just as he saw the shape. But it was really hard to try to get somebody to hold a shape, and so instead we tried to make it more natural by having them just words.
And yeah, and I think probably during the refitting process, when they wrap the Mixamo mesh onto the high-res mesh, they localize the shape of Vizime, so they maybe would remove any of the deformation that might happen around, like the eyebrow, for example. So I think there was some thought put into that. The one thing we did see is that the magnitude of that Vizime, although natural, isn't always big enough to really be seen in an environment like this. So for the ah shape, the mouth open, we pushed it by a factor of about 100, about how would you say, about 1.5 from 1 to 1.5, just to exaggerate a little bit so it reads more clearly. It's breaking it a little bit, but it exaggerates in an appealing and I think useful way.
Well, is that something that will improve when we end up with like 4K in each eye sort of thing in sizes, or the headset?
Yeah, it may be in part. It may be in part the resolution. It's also just kind of a phenomena of animation in general, I think, because when we talk, I think naturally it's very subtle mouth movement. I think to us it may seem big, but it's actually really subtle, and only in real life do you kind of register that subtle movement. So generally speaking, with animation, you want to push that so that it reads more clearly visually.
Yeah,
well, when you actually see somebody speaking with exaggerated mouth movements, it just looks odd in real life, because there are people that do that in real life. They move their mouth a lot when they're speaking.
Yeah, I guess that's where
if you're in the headset, that would be a problem, right?
I guess that's the artfulness of it. Then I guess it would be up to the author to decide how strong they want that shape to look based on their aesthetic preference.
Yeah. There you go. You can produce a tuning tool for that.
Yeah. Well, you can do that in the. Well, I think it's not just the headset. It's also just the phenomena of your mouth shape. Like, basically, what we discovered is that if we magnified the mouth shape, it read more clearly. It certainly integrated more nicely with these audio-driven mouth shapes. You're not always at 1. You're sometimes at like a 0.5 or a 0.2. And so just to be able to see that, it's nice to have a really strong, confident, open mouth shape.
So you make with the shapes, you just be defining the shapes more. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and you can do that in the FST. Yeah. You can use the mapping to decide what amplitude you want. So if you don't want a big shape, you can dial it down.
And I would even, I mean, you could hypothesize that also, you know, to the point on having 4K in each eye will clearly make things clearer to see, and then maybe it would make us also tighten up, get closer to each other in these conversations. You know, I think, you know, if we look where we're all standing right now and kind of try to imagine that, you know, us standing in real life, maybe we would be a little tighter. Well, in this case, you know, Ozan and I are presenting to everyone, so everyone's sort of standing back. But at that distance, it would be quite hard to probably see a lot of his smaller facial movements. But then we all kind of stand at that distance by default. So maybe with higher resolution HMDs and better tracking of where you're physically moving in the environment, people may naturally kind of start to stand closer.
Well, I will say this. I mean, I think there is certainly a technical aspect to this with regard to the resolution and maybe some of the sort of social consequences. And then there's just I guess the artfulness of it. So at Pixar, for example, there's this, and in animation in general, there's this idea of exaggeration. It's an important aspect to doing any animation. And they have sort of very high resolution output. So it's not, I don't think just the resolution, it's just the sort of the craft of doing animation and selling a performance. It's like in theater, for example, you might project to the back row a little bit just to really make your performance clear and have more of an emotional experience.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, we'll see. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of HMDs, who here has received their CV1 or their Vive Pre?
Neither
Anyone?
yet.
No one?
Only got a letter saying sorry for the delay.
Oh, and saying you're going to get an update on the 12th?
Yes.
That one? That
After
email?
yep. Deliveries, aren't they, on the offer?
Yeah, everyone who backed the Kickstarter in our office has got their Rifts now. But did any come today, Ozan? Have any new ones come today? Have you seen?
No, I saw one. I think Tony's came yesterday.
Yeah, that's a Kickstarter. That's his Kickstarter one as well.
Yeah, that was a special moment, and I think James was tempted to hide it from him just to prank him a little bit. But I think he realized the risk associated with that.
Yeah, well, I can't wait till majority of us have them in here. You know, I've got mine, which my Asus laptop that I've got right now doesn't even run, which is a bit of a bummer. But you know, our internal meeting on Thursday, the Caitlin's in her Vive Pre. I've got everyone else's DK2s. I'm in my CV1, and just, you know, I find I'm walking around all over the place, so much, like physically walking within the group, which is really fun. Yeah, yeah. Well, I've been doing the CV1, walking around. You get some pretty good. You miss the hand controllers. Yeah, it's like 12 feet of range, really nicely, and to the point where I often have to kind of lift up the headset to recheck where I'm physically orientated. Yeah, been really able to explore quite nicely. And you probably, you know, it's probably like you are with a new toy. I'm probably overwalking. You know, you're just so excited to be walking around.
It'll zoom back up a little bit.
Look at my fitness tracker. I'm like, oh, there's 1,000 steps. I just
1,000 steps. It's oddly liberating.
That is strange, because I'm not having a problem.
I wonder why you can't.
No, if you are you not loading up some kind of a physics hole? If you bring up your stats,
Are you wireless?
yeah, to bring up your stats, go into settings, menus, developer stats, yeah, and just click on the stats to expand them, and the third section should show downloads. Does yours show anything? Mine says.
I think you moved not smooth, Chris.
And you're not wireless, right?
Yeah.
Both you guys standing right here are stuck.
We're frozen. You can rotate, but you can't move.
You're not moving smooth, Chris.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. You guys are stuck back there. The whole show's been happening on over there. You go. Have a look. Have a look at that.
There you go.
Yeah. Doesn't that look fantastic?
It's not helped by the
oh yeah,
lighting
there you are.
in
Get in there.
I am.
Yeah,
I like the.
I want to join the party.
I really like the guy's eyes. He's my favorite because with his cheekbones and then a little bit of the stubble just really comes through there.
What I'm saying is we can't really see the skin tones accurately because of the lighting in it.
It's a bit dark, yeah. This is one of the sort of more harsh lighting environments actually because of the dark and
But
contrast.
it's still doing reasonably well for lighting in here. So.
Yeah. Nice to get some more FPS.
Well, one thing that we tried actually was introducing a little bit of an emissive map to illuminate the skin, so that even in dark lighting there'd be a little bit of illumination. But we found that was a bit tricky because of some artifacting that we were seeing in the emissive map. So that's something that we played with as well. Can
even both you guys send over your log file after this? The fact that both of you are stuck right there.
And I got the same.
Yeah, I'm stuck over here too, FYI.
We'll
Zero,
get toys
3 downloads.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
For you toys.
Well, you had said that.
WASD
She is beautiful. She is. She sure is beautiful. Stopped in your tracks.
But you weren't speechless.
Yeah.
Do the WASD keys still work?
None for me.
The WASD keys.
Okay.
No, that's the whole thing. It's really just WSAD that stopped working.
Can you and also get a screenshot of? If you could do me a favour. Oh, hang on a second. Did both of you guys jump at the same time?
I can jump, but it won't let me take off.
Okay.
These avatars.
Yeah. Can you guys also, if you go into your scripts, edit running scripts, and load up a script called running renderstats.js. Render stats. .js, and I'll load up a window and just expand that, and just grab a screenshot of that, just so we can just see if there's anything unusual in there. It's in.
It's under utilities.
Yeah, it's in. It's in. Yeah, Kevin's.
We've been fused.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
It's a Balkan mine merge.
Yeah.
Something stuck
here. Is that a jacket?
Yeah, cool. Just grab a screenshot of that.
That's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is like a Laverne and Shirley moment because to me, you're stuck jumping. You're like frozen.
Yeah.
Hassan Pfeffer Incorporated.
When that happens to me, I notice my frame rate, my render rate drops way down to like 1 or 0, and the only thing you can do is jump up. But once you do it, you can never move again. I mean, you never can change the pose.
Huh.
Do you have the interface in focus? Is that the front window that your applications that you're using, or?
Yes, he's able to turn
right.
a little bit.
I'm just trying to think, because if that's not in focus, the render rate's going to go down dramatically.
No, it to me, really.
I am going to guess we may have blown out your texture memory.
That's what's happened to me. I've gone over what I've got in my cards. So.
Yeah, and I was going to say the other thing happens is I crash, and the crash report that comes back says GPU requested more memory than was available.
I guess I can't see any of those. My texture memory is within.
I guess I'm sad to hear
send all
that.
the information on.
I was going to say I'm sad to hear that corresponded with right when I came in, because these should be fairly optimized models in the range of 20 megs. So hoping there was nothing too.
But they don't occupy 20 megs in the graphics card, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's their texture resolution right now?
They're a combination of 2K and 1K texture maps.
Okay.
Yeah, but like I say, they don't occupy only that amount of memory in the graphics card, do they? They're being unpacked, right, and decompressed.
Yeah.
So it's more like over 100.
I believe you. I'm not sure exactly what the tech is there, because it's not as if we compressed the textures prior to loading them. Even the texture. Well, I can check, but the textures themselves aren't particularly.
20 megabytes sounds.
Sounds, yeah. Well, we should take a look at that and see what impact it has. One thing that's true is that's roughly the same size as most of the avatars, so it's in the right range.
Well, because we've got so many things around us as well. That would explain it.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Half gigs on a 2 gig card.
Yeah, so each 2K texture layer on your model is 4 megabytes.
Yeah.
So it's however many, like that's your your main texture, your normal maps. They're all 4 megabytes each, and it all adds up.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. Yeah.
So we should do some testing and optimizing around that.
Yeah, and we've done. There's a couple of things about that I could quickly talk. But send me the log on that photo. So 2 things. So firstly, last week we did an update where we were actually never releasing any textures that were loading up into memory. Okay, we never. So now we release them only, but when you teleport to another place. So there's still a lot more to be done on that, but we're now we do actually release them when you do teleport. And then secondly, and I think it's still in, it's it's not yet pushed. Sam on graphics has just been working on some graphics optimization on the load when the graphics are getting loaded. So optimizations at the point of being loaded by the client. So just to sort of help out with that a little. But yeah, so there are those avatars. The other thing I just wanted to say is I mentioned last week that we're going to be going into kind of a release candidate process this week. We started that on Tuesday. You wouldn't have noticed anything other than getting less updates.
I have a request for that, by the way.
Yes. Did you say a quest or a request?
Request. Sorry. Okay. Could we have them in different folders so we can install both?
You could. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. But you just change where you want to put it.
Yeah, but I mean, could we have that as a default?
Yeah, I think she probably means that you split up the installers for the release one and the dev one, so that you can
you do it for the test.
You can follow both branches.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. So you can manually do it right now.
I know I can manually do it. Could that make? Because it would make sense, wouldn't it? Certainly for the future.
Yeah, I'll put that. Yeah. I'll fill that request in.
Sorry to butt in now. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also saw another fix coming in today. That was the ghost avatars will be fixed soon. Where the avatars that are standing stuck somewhere, and you look away and they're gone again.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We've had a couple of cracks at that, so this one could be the one that gets it.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have said earlier that's 4 megabits per channel, 4 megabytes per channel. So just if it's just RGB, then that's 12 megabytes, and if there's an alpha channel, it's 16 megabytes per texture. That's 2048, not 4.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't make myself clear.
Yep,
and so 4 times as much, really. Again.
Yep. I think Ozon's dropped off. So the man with I think he's dropped off. So so release and dev for you guys. If anything, the only thing you would have noticed is less updates, which probably freaks some of you out. That you're thinking what's going on, but so the process is going to be that there's another URL to get to the dev downloads if you want to grab them. Those get updated very similar to how we used to update everything. You know, as frequently as something gets approved and approved, we merge that. And then every maybe few days or once a week, we will put up what we call a release candidate pull request that will then QA, and then that gets set to being, you know, in quotes, stable, and sent out as an update. So we've done one update this week that went out on Wednesday. We will probably do a pull request to this afternoon before the end of the day. That will be for the for the QA testers here. Will see it. It gets flagged with a release candidate label, and that will be up for over the weekend. That, you know, if anyone wants to have a go of it and see how it works, feel free to jump in and check it all out, and then we will upgrade that on Monday. So at a high level, it's us going through the motions of a better build, deploy, stable process.
Chris, I just wanted to. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that I took a look at the texture files, and on average they are about 2 megs each, and there's about 5 of them, or maybe 6 actually. So
but they're 2 meg and they're in a compressed format. When they're in the graphics card.
Well, I think the 2 megs are the source files, so like the PNGs and the JPEGs. Those may be compressed. I guess I'll have to look into that, but that's on disk.
The on-disk size is not the same. In the graphics card, they're being uncompressed, and therefore your 2 megs is coming out more like 16.
Yeah, so that's that may be what's happening.
Yeah.
But I think there was some mention. I think there's some work being done to actually have them as compressed inside the graphics card.
Well, I think that's exactly what Sam is working on currently.
That's what Sam's doing, because we've been following that as well in the stuff. So and if he gets that, then that's going to be great. That's going to make it easy for everybody as well.
And then also we do some, you know, further you know, releasing of textures out of memory with, you know, where you look, and, you know, so if you haven't pressed something for a while and all that kind of good stuff. So the release and deploy process, did anyone have any questions on that? It's not really a fun one.
One thing I think would be
sexy.
One thing I think would be good to have is an easy way to determine which PR or merged PR is equivalent to each of the weekly ones. You know, so in other words, if right now, unless I guess you can go back and look at the release notes to see which, you know, where they're actually equivalent.
What it's up to. So the numbers should work out. So if the release candidate right now is, what is it? I think it's 4. What have I got? 4657. If I'm running the release candidate, and then on the developer page, it could be. It's probably. Here, let me just bring it up. Yeah, hang on. So.
But 4567 doesn't necessarily correspond with developer version 4566. It could be 4300 or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I would like to have some easy way to tell, maybe even from inside interface, what the equivalent was, because I can just see getting in some cases where you don't know where something's changed, and it'd be very hard to find it.
Yes. So what? Yeah. No, so let me answer the question. So if you bring up highfidelity.io/download, and you bring up highfidelity.io/dev-download, right? Hopefully this was what you were asking. Is on the release on download. It's currently at select build 4657, right?
Right.
And remember 4657 on dev-download. It is currently at 4671. So what is in here is everything. What release has is everything up to 4657 from dev, and so everything above that is not in release.
Yeah, well, that's fine as long as the numbers match. If they're going to match each time, then that does it completely. Yeah.
No, I don't think that's quite right.
That's what it's meant to.
Yeah,
that's what it's meant to. But Dave, Control-Alt saying it's not the case. So what do you think?
The dev version
David?
is not giving an update notification anymore.
I'm just looking at the
yeah, see, I mean, I think that would be fine, because if they released one today on the stable version, it would be that other number, the 711, right?
It would be, if right now, and we'll do it this afternoon, right? So if we did a release candidate, a proposed release candidate right now, it would be labelled 4672.
But it would be after that. Okay.
Which we are. Yeah, we're doing it off. Yeah, we're doing it off the dev number. Well, at least that's what we should be doing.
Yeah. Well.
Right.
The current release 4657 corresponds to dev build 4643.
The current release build's 4657, right?
Yep.
Current release build is 4657.
And that's equivalent to dev build 4643.
4643.
Yeah, and I'm on 4668.
What if we did a dot notation, so corresponding to the release, so that the dev build might correspond to it, or vice versa? Just, I don't know.
Well, it should be the way that I just described it, and I went through it on with the I'm because I'm on the QA. I make the call on when we pull the RC.
I'd like it that way too, because that way everything's unique. You don't, there's no question about when it happened.
If this damn scroll would work. Yeah, but hang on, but David, if you go. Hang on, but are you talking about pull request number control, David, or are you talking about the the release number that we put on the
release
thing.
number is 4657, and the most recent version to that branch, the release branch, was from build 4643.
Okay, well, okay, well, I will have to check then. I'll check with Brad. I'll have to check with Brad. But yes, it should be keeping itself in order like that. So I will check with Brad. But anyway, should be another release candidate that's coming up this afternoon. Yeah. Well, it should be that way. Brad and I have spent quite gone through it a number of times. But I could be wrong. I'm not the engineer in the two-man where does the release candidate get pulled party. So I'm no doubt probably wrong. So what else did I have?
Is the developer version still give update notifications?
Yes. Yes.
So far I have not seen it.
I get it. I got it. Does anyone else not getting it?
I talk about the developer version.
Yes.
Yeah, I got mine.
What version are you running right now, Richardus?
4670, but I checked the website.
4670.
I need to check.
Yeah, I got.
4671.
Yeah, I this morning 4671, which, but 4671 it says it 4671 has on it of happening 14 minutes before the meeting, which may mean it could have got up to S3 after the meeting started. So if you're on 4670, that's a pretty recent build.
4666 before, I think, and I did not get a notification to 70. I need to check it. I don't update it and check it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep. I appear to be giving you guys a lot of, it should be doing this, and then someone tells me it's not. So it should be. Okay. So that's how that's working. Luckily there'll be a release candidate up if anyone wants to try it. But it's basically going to be just what's on the if you're running off developer, and you're on the latest developer client, it's just going to be what's at the latest developer. What's the most recent developer released merged developer client is what we put out there. And we're going to look to tidy that. We're going to look to try and tighten that process up over the few weeks. So, do you guys have any other things that you want to go over or cover?
Check the floor.
A number of things that were getting deferred, going to start getting looked into. Oh. Yeah. We are we're still just working off an internal kind of bug list that we're using with a thing called Asana. At the moment, the kind of things that are categorized P1s have been mainly crash bugs. Everyone's working pretty hard on crash-related bugs. So there's a few of you guys that got access to that are doing QA testing. So they are, that's really all I can say to that. The majority of things getting worked on right now are just trying to make everything stable.
You have to fix lots of bugs.
Yeah. What was that, Richardus?
Then you have to fix lots of bugs.
Oh yeah, there's no a very large list on there, and then hopefully with the nature of the open source client, we'll be able to accelerate that with additional resources that could help out with things. What else, guys? Judas, you've been very quiet today. Yep. Yeah. I don't I don't know the answer.
Physics consideration. Most more than anything, if you're going to have to do that, make collisions and you've got some small polygons, small. I'm not familiar with trying.
Right. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
different bullet.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I am so. Hey, yeah, Phil, yeah. Well, he knows a lot more about. He is much more skilled at physics than I am. I'd say of all of being a non-engineer, of all the engineering disciplines that are out there, physics is the one that I have. I know to make a ball bounce on the ground, but that's as deep as my physics abilities go. But I've Andrew here is the one working on the bullet integration, and Philip. Yeah, Leviathan is his GitHub name. The other thing is he actually just this is my way of like diverting your question into something else that's related to physics. But just yes, I'm not the best person to ask because I don't know the answer on it, unfortunately. But there is a PR up that Andrew did, which has got some various physics optimizations in place. Got nothing to do with with different ways of calculating collision hulls, but just doing improvements of how physics are handled by the simulator. And Omega Haran actually did a QA pass across it and saw some really nice results. And apologies for the sound that's maybe happening in the background. There's some guys in my garden with a large blower. So yeah, you should check that out as well if you're interested. And that PR would probably go up maybe in a release candidate sometime next week because it's something that that as a group internally in our next internal meeting we're probably going to run it and really hammer it because it touches a lot of things with regards to physics. Yep. Yes. Yeah. No worries. And sorry. You've got a useless answer on that. On that. What? Anything else, guys?
No, until you leave, then the questions come.
Oh yeah, I know. I know, right? I come back as my alt after these meetings and just silently listen.
There's probably things I could say, but I mean it's not the right time to say them right now, really. So. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So the only other thing I'd say is that the we had a meetup in our office on Wednesday. That Jasmine, who's here, actually put together, where we just invited a whole lot of people. We, you guys know, some of you guys are attending. We're doing a face-to-face hackathon at the end of this month. So that was a really cool meetup. And it's one of those. I think that the one thing that I'm reminded of is that the thing that we all know so naturally of this being able to a multiplayer with spatial audio and creating real-time content, content real-time collaboratively is something that we've been working on a lot and obviously break a lot, but it's something that's foreign to anyone that hasn't played Second Life or Open Simulator or in High Fidelity. There's a lot of the people that came have experience developing in Unity or Unreal. So it blew. A lot of people scratched their heads initially to say, "Hang on a second, did you just do you mean that there's it works with devices, there's multiplayer, and I can create stuff in real time." It just was a interesting takeaway from that meetup.
All right, okay. So they're not aware of that.
They were not. Some were not.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, cool all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take off, and feel free to obviously hang out in the playa.
Hang on, you normally drop off.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say that's right. I said I'm gonna drop off, or actually, normally what I've been saying. Well, last week was the whole time. I was reminded after coming out of it. I think I said about 100 times how comfortable I was wearing my CU1. But I
none of that. You break up.
Firing the fireworks. This is up. Yeah, it's the fireworks.
Oh, okay. That's an odd bug, isn't it? Yeah.
Cool, guys. We'll have a great week, and like I said, a proposed release candidate will be probably up in the next hour.
I stay for a while on the process.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
pretty
can't
cool.
wait for one day something might.
I thought it was Mulder from the X-Files.
I actually think this avatar looks very similar to one of our engineers. I think our audio engineer Ken has this kind of a look going on.
Glad I'm coming to San Francisco.
Yeah. Hey, remember he's actually up in Seattle, but I'll tell him to come on down. If you guys could send me that, remember to send me that your information on your log and stuff like that. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll do that right away.
Just waiting.
Cool. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
See you later.
Take care.
Okay. I'm out.
Bye, Richards.